Martial arts are assumed to make men more aggressive. Like, bro, you spend 100 to 200 bucks a month to scrap? That's pretty psycho. However, in most cases, it's quite the contrary. Martial arts help reduce impulsive reactions by exposing men to stress and learn emotional regulation, a psychological process known as stress inoculation. Basically, the idea that gradual exposure to manageable stress will train the nervous system to respond with control instead of panic. The outcome of this is not increased aggression, but rather improved emotional and behavioral discipline. My martial arts journey started off when I was 8 and I tried Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. I wrestled for a year in high school and briefly trained Muay Thai and boxing. In July of 2024, I got back into Jiu Jitsu. What originally drew me to martial arts is I wanted to be able to fight. I'm sure most fellas can vouch for this. Nobody wants to lose a fight. And it's not just losing physically now, it's publicly. Back in the day, you get beat up and it's word of mouth of your tragic loss. Nowadays, your tragic loss is online forever. What surprised me most with training is the psychological effect. Before committing to jiu-jitsu, I spent years lifting weights. Lifting helped improve my physical capacity, but I found it didn't fully settle my irritability. And lifting is great for regulating stress. You exert energy, release tension, and you feel better temporarily. With martial arts like jiu-jitsu, they include that same physical intensity, but they also add 2 additional layers. In these layers, you are exposed to a controlled social threat, another person actively trying to destroy you. And while this is happening, you are required to regulate yourself, control your breathing, think strategically, and keep composure while physically constrained. This level of engagement absorbs your attention. There's no room for you to analyze your daily baggage. When I was lifting in the gym, during that 60-second set, I was focused solely on the present. But then in between sets, when you're resting, was when the background noise would return. Now a little disclaimer, martial arts build regulation under pressure. They strengthen your ability to stay composed when your nervous system has already spiked. Regulation is only one layer of emotional stability. Martial arts are still just a form of exercise, and exercise is one example of a long-term strategy for emotional stability. Long-term emotional health also involves practices like meditation, journaling, and reflection. Physical regulation strengthens the nervous system. Cognitive practices help you understand what's going on internally. I break down that short-term versus long-term framework in the video up above. Anyways, let's get right back into the action. One of the first things you learn from martial arts is how to lose. Specifically, how to not let loss or setbacks take you down. Take down? Get it? Okay. And when you do lose, which you will, there's no storyline about your value. It's only data. And that data is used to recalibrate your approach for next time. And this mindset can be used outside of training as well. A bad test score becomes data. An argument becomes data. A missed opportunity, data. You're no longer losing, but rather learning. The second shift is physiological. Training places you under unpredictable pressure. Your heart rate spikes. Your breathing shortens. Your body interprets constraint as a threat. Early on, your instinct is to panic. But panicking is inefficient. It wastes energy, clouds decision making. Over time, you learn to regulate instead, slowing the breath, relaxing tension throughout the body, thinking while being smothered. Over time, that repeated cycle functions like stress inoculation. Your brain experiences elevated intensity without catastrophic outcome. The amygdala signals urgency, but your prefrontal cortex learns to moderate it. And this isn't meaning you're eliminating the stress response. You're developing control within the stress. And this control carries beyond the gym. Traffic feels different. Arguments feel different. Deadlines feel different. Not because they disappear, but because your system no longer overreacts to every spike. The third shift is subtler. When you train consistently, the need to appear tough dissolves. You've already been tested. You know how to operate under pressure. You understand your limitations, and you know you can operate inside them. This produces a quieter form of confidence that doesn't search for validation. And people who train consistently want to avoid fights outside of the gym. Now, of course, training alone doesn't always guarantee maturity. There are fighters who still act recklessly outside of the gym. Martial arts doesn't replace character, they reveal character. But when training is paired with self-awareness, the pattern trends towards restraint. This is because they're aware of how fast situations escalate, aware of how unpredictable people are, aware of the possibility of weapons. That awareness creates restraint. And most street altercations aren't even about protection. They're about pride. And when you're content with yourself, you don't gamble with these unknown variables to feed your ego. Research suggests a similar pattern. Martial arts has been linked to improve emotional regulation and reduced aggression in student populations. In competitive athletes, competition anxiety and sympathetic activation increase, yet performance remains intact. Basically what this means is the stress response does activate, but it remains regulated. Stress is inevitable, but it's important to regulate it. This aligns with stress inoculation training, first outlined by psychologist Donald Meichenbaum, which suggests controlled exposure to stress builds resilience through regulation. When you take a step back, the threats we experience today usually aren't physical. They are social visibility, online scrutiny, and subtle status shifts. Our nervous systems react to abstract pressure with little to no physical outlet. And martial arts provides something rare: clarity. When you train martial arts, you confront pressure and still get to leave intact. For most people, these experiments teach discernment. Discomfort doesn't equal danger. Once this distinction sharpens, most daily stress feels less overwhelming. It's not about becoming violent, but rather reaching stability.